Good morning, it's June 13th, 2016, and I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can. And I'm going to try to make it one long video just because I don't have the time to do much editing. These are our red onions. It's a nice cool morning, beautiful. Weeds are starting to come back. I'm going to have to hit this with the wheel hoe. And have a few days off coming soon. Busy days, but I'll have a few days off. I'll see what I could do with getting this all in order. This area here I'm solarizing, it's going to be for beans. It's looking pretty good. By solarizing, I mean I put down a 36-inch cover, covered it with dirt, and I'm pretty much doing that to make sure all the weeds underneath to germinate, and then I'm going to put some beans in. And I'm hoping we don't end up with the mess we have over here with beans and peas and beans. The beans are basically intertwined with the weeds. It's very hard to even see the beans. Excuse me, don't want to make that mistake again. That's why I'm doing it this way. Let me next take you to the tomatoes. I hope the wind sound's not coming in too strong on the camera. It's a little breezy. It's about 55 out this morning, so it's nice and comfortable. Let me bring you to the tomatoes. This is my first cluster of Super Sweet 100 tomatoes I have in the whole garden. I mean, I have a couple tiny ones that look like they're about to start, but this is the actual first cluster. I'm hoping to have those probably by July. They're small, they're green, they just got to start turning red and getting a little plumper. The tomatoes are going crazy though, and I'm very happy about that. Let me pan out and show you the rest of them we have. There's a ton. We'll go for a little more. And they're all looking pretty good. Every one of the Super Sweets looking good, and in the back I have a yellow pear, and that's also looking good. Let me come over to my next piece of the garden. It's kind of been my pride and joy thus far this year. These are my Albion strawberries. There's 50 plants in here. Well, I think one or two of them may have died, but there's close to 50 plants in here. We've picked thus far about a little over 2 pounds, so not doing bad. I have another bed of Albia back here. I was testing to see if trying to grow with straw was going to be a good idea, just because so many people, including myself, I'm not a super big fan of plastic, but I'm coming to the conclusion now that plastic might just be something that's needed. Just do your best to make sure you get a good quality plastic, preferably a biodegradable one, which I do know exists. I'm probably going to start switching to that. And what happens with it basically after a year, it degrades into the soil. I've seen a few different materials they're made out of. I gotta kind of figure that one out. I know some of them are made out of corn syrup. I don't know if I want to be having genetically modified corn into my soil, but I've seen some are also made out of different, basically, food. So I'm going to find out what's best and we'll go from there. Next are the peas. We are probably 1 to 2 days from being really into picking peas. Plus we have a lot of white flowers. I thought we were in trouble because they flowered really quick when we had a heat wave, and then they stopped when it got cooler. But it looks like they have resumed. So it's going to be a good picking, I think, coming up. They also got intertwined with weeds. I'm going to make sure we don't make that mistake again. I tried this year to not make the mistake I made last year, but it seems like once the peas start coming up, the weeds come up and they get all tangled together, and you just can't get the weeds out without pulling the peas out too. So, got to work on something for that. It's always a work in progress, because as soon as you think you have everything figured out, nature will throw something at you that'll just basically knock you back down on your butt. Let's take a quick walk back. Hope it's not too bumpy of a ride. These are my larger tomatoes. Bush Early Girl has a couple small tomatoes on it. One that stands out, the others are pretty small. I don't know how well they're going to come in on the camera. And then further back, all the other tomatoes are looking pretty good. They should all be Boxcar Willies. I don't know why I did not put labels on them. I swore I did. Okay. The other one should all be Boxcar Willies. I have one that's looking a little scraggly. I'm going to try to retie it up. Hopefully that'll help. Other than that, they're bigger tomatoes, so they are going to take a little more time than the cherries. Next, look at these broccoli heads. Looking really good. I do know that I'm going to begin using shade cloth on these next year. Actually, I might use shade cloth on them when they grow in the fall, because they're looking beautiful, but I actually have one or two that have bolted unbelievably. Let me get you close to that one. This here is what happens when your broccoli bolts. I mean, the plant's just doing what it knows what to do. It's living its life. If it sees that it's warm, it sees that there's a lot of insects and pollinators out, it's time to go to seed, so it goes to seed. So I can't blame the plant for being the plant. What that is a little annoying though is where that broccoli bolted at, basically from that point back are my Romanesco broccolis. I have a ton of leaves, but not one head in any of them. I've been moving the leaves around for a little bit now. I can't find a head in any of those broccoli. So I'm a little perturbed by that, but hey, nothing you could do. Plants are just going to do what they do. Here's another bolting head of broccoli. So it's getting that time. I mean, broccoli are more of a cool season vegetable. They're not exactly a survive the summer kind of vegetable like tomatoes or beans or peppers. And speaking of peppers, I got a treat for you. Sorry if I'm making anybody dizzy. All the way in the back corner, I don't know how well the camera is showing it, but there's a little yellow pepper. Let's get a little closer. That would be one of my sweet banana peppers. These are my weeds I have pulled thus far. They're really in full speed coming in. Actually, why don't we get the fushimi I have here first? This is my first pepper of the year, fushimi pepper. It's pretty small. Actually, I'm sorry, no, that's a sweet banana pepper as well. I'm not even looking at where I'm aiming the camera. The fushimis are up front. So I have a sweet banana pepper here, and I have another sweet banana pepper back here. I'm going to let them grow just a little bit bigger and cut them, and they'll be the first peppers. Not bad for mid-June. I'm going to pan over now and show you the kale. The kale's going crazy. I'm going to start cutting the kale pretty much any time now. They're ready to be cut. These leaves like this are perfect. I mean, just break a leaf off and jump on it. Vitamin K. Got that nice kale taste. Zoom out now. And one final thing. Let's look at the cauliflower. I've been trying to see if I'm getting heads on my cauliflower, and I don't see them yet. Zoom in. No, nothing yet. But I figure that's coming. There's my cauliflower. Nothing inside any of them yet. But I do know once they come, you have to tie them. So that's my next plan. I'm going to get them and start tying you tie the leaves around the head so that the head stays white, otherwise it'll turn into like a yellowish, orangish mess. And we don't want that. That's pretty much it. Might as well show you the cucumbers and melons, because that's pretty much what we have left here. Cucumbers, they grew like crazy. They're getting a little smaller now. I think these cooler nights, I think they're just waiting now. They can hold on just a little bit. And I'll finish off with the melons. I know I said I'll finish off with the broccoli, or cauliflower. But my video, so I could change the rules as I go. Here's the watermelon. That one's probably my longest vine, but I have this one here that's not too far behind it. And now it's just going to be about keeping the vines inside the fence so nothing tries to eat my melons. This is going to be my last year trying to do them like this. I did this last year where I put them in this way, and I'm not doing that again. Next year they're getting their own row. I'm going to have a 25-foot row, and they're going to be pretty well cared for. I'm going to have irrigation line going to them, and I'm going to have them covered so bugs don't get through the leaves. And they're going to be pretty much babied. And that is it. Have a good day.